see if you can find out what x is. So you're going to use your calculator, see if you can figure out what that exponent is equal to. I need you to just think about it before we talk about what to do. Make sure your headphones are out, please. You're just doing some guess and check on your calculator to see if you can figure out what x is. Back. Yep. Everything okay? Yeah. Okay, good. You're so insightful. So you're just using your calculator to see if you can figure it out. How do you get the number? You don't. Yeah. That's what we're going to learn today, how to figure out how to solve something like that. Yeah. You're just using the 6 and to find an exponent. I want you just using, is that what you're doing already?
What?
Are you doing number 1 already? I know.
I don't know how to do it.
So you're just using guess and check. You got the 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Okay.
Just putting some numbers in there. See what to do. I need you to play with this before we actually do the problem. Okay, so you have on your calculator, do you have different log bases? Or, yeah. No, you know? I'm wondering how you got that. Okay, so this is our answer that we would get if we're doing it to the nearest 10,000th. And that takes a lot of time to do some guess and check for that, doesn't it? It's hard to do that. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do it rather than guess and check, because the guess and check is not efficient. So we're going to go on to number 2. We're going to do number 2. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take the log of both sides. So if there is no base on that log, what is the base assumed to be? 10, which is what the log key on your calculator is. That's a base of 10. So we have a log rule that says we can do something with this x. What can we do with that x? We can move it to the front. So we're going to move that to the front. So we get it out of the exponent because our variable is in our exponent. So we want to get it out of the exponent. So the way to do that is first take the log of both sides and then move that exponent to the front. So x times the log of 3 equals the log of 10. Does that make sense? So now what would we do next to just solve for x? What would we do to both sides of that? So we've got to get this out of this side. We want the x by itself. So what would we do to both sides to get that x by itself? Divide by log 3. So when you do that, you're going to get x So on those blue calculators, when you go to do it, it puts a parentheses there. So what do you need to do to make your calculator do it correctly? When it puts that one set of parentheses there, what do you have to do on there? Close it. So you put another one on the other side. So I'm going to tell you I don't recommend you use that one. You can, but I would recommend you use one of these instead. Or yeah, your own. Yeah. Thank you. I hear you. I hear you guys helping each other. I love that. Good. Yes. Yep. Yep. You're doing great. Yep. Did it work? Yeah. Okay. Is it working out okay, Javier? No? So you're doing log of, so you got to do divide both sides by log 10. So you're doing log 10 on your calculator. Where's the LOG key? There. And then 10. And then you have to close it. See how it puts a parentheses? You have to, yeah. And then divide by log 3. Okay, questions on that before we move on to the next one? So this is the nearest 10,000. So 10,000th would be 4 decimal points, or 4 places after the decimal. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. Does that make sense? So it says 10,000ths. Okay, so what's my first step on number 3? What was my first step here? We want to take the log of both sides. So log of 12 to the x equals the log of 0.3. And because we want to use our calculator, that's why we're using a log base 10. And then what's our next step? Yes. So we move this x in front of the log. That's one of our log properties. So x log 12 equals a log of 0.3. And then what would be our next step there? Kira, do you know what the next step is? That's right. Divide both sides by log 12. So we get x is, what are these, what does this symbol mean here? About, it's approximately equal to, because we are rounding it. We're not giving an exact answer. Questions on that? Okay, do number 4 as a you try. Do it on your own.
You're going down.
Wait a second, look at it again. You already know what to do on this? Good. You put this in the calculator, log of 0.3 divided by log of 12. Close it, good. Yep. Divided by log 12. You have to do divide. Yeah. Yep. Just like it shows as written. Yeah. Sure. And that's what you should get for your answer. Questions on that? That one's rounded. So my recommendation when you do this is to literally write it like, put it in your calculator like this. Don't find the log of 0.3, write it down, then find the log of 12, write it down and divide, because you may make a rounding error. You want to round at the very end. So is that what you did by chance? Write down? No. You probably just put it in. So it's rounded to the nearest 10,000. So you look at the 9. The number next to the 9 is 0. Yeah. Good question. Okay, number 5. What would we do first on this one? Take the log of both sides. That's right. So the log of 11 to the p plus 8. So this log is helping us solve for an exponent. That's why we have logs. So what do we want to do next here? Move that exponent to the front. So that's p plus 8. And I want to put parentheses around that p plus 8. Why? That's all together. I want to multiply not just the 8 by log 11, but the p plus 8 by log 11. So now what's my next step? Divide by log 11. I'm going to do that in another color. So I get p plus 8 equals the log of 34 over the log of 11. And then what's next? Subtract 8. So again, on this one, I would recommend that you put all this in your calculator rather than finding an answer for this and then subtracting 8, because we don't want to make a rounding error. When you have to round the answer to the nearest 10,000th, then you have to take your other numbers and round higher than that. So what do we get for our answer? 2.5294. So when we round that, it's to 6.52939. So that would round to 6.52, negative 6.5294. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do I do first on number 6? Can somebody here tell us what we do first on number 6? Very good. Take the log of both sides. Can't do anything until we do that, because we want to get to that exponent, and taking the log of both sides allows us to do that. So what next? Do something with that exponent. Move it to the front. So it's k minus 7 times log 4 equals the log of 18. And then somebody here, what do we do next here? Yes, divide both sides by log 4. So we get k minus 7 is log 18 divided by log 4. And what next? Gotta get k by itself. So what do we do with that minus 7? Add 7 to both sides. So those cancel, and we get k is about so we get 9.0408496. So this rounds, what does that round to? 9.0850. Yep, because this is 49, so that rounds up to 50. Does that make sense? Okay, go ahead and do this one as your U try. Fill out your manga. Take a look at it before you go. So you should get an answer of 7.0898. Any questions on that? Any rounding questions? Oh, no, it didn't. No rounding questions on that? My last two classes had a question about the rounding. Nobody has any questions about that? Okay, I'm just going to address it in case somebody does. Yes, this is a 9 after the 7, but because this is a 7, we can still go up. We can still go up to 8. So the last one, it was like a 4-9. The 4-9 went up to 5-0. This one is a 9-7. And then the 9 is what we're looking at to round up. Did you have a question? No, okay. Okay, so what would we do first on, I think I'm gonna skip number 8. What would we do first on number 9? So before we do the log, we need to isolate that exponent or the base with the exponent. Add 7 first, that's right. So add 7. So 14 to the b equals 23. And then what would we do next? Take the log of both sides. Log of 14 to the b equals the log of 23. And then move that exponent to the front. B log 14 is log 23. David, I want you to tell me the next step here. What do we do next? What will we do next to get b by itself? We're going to do something with the log 14. David. Divide by? Yes, good. And so b is about 1.1881. And just for the sake of time, what would our first step be on number 10? Very good. Divide by 9. This is a multiplication symbol, so we want to undo that by first dividing by 9. So we get 17 to the n is equal to 39 over 9. Let me finish that one. What would our next step be? Log both sides. Log of 17 to the n is the log of 39 over 9. I would leave it alone. You can get a decimal there, but make sure you round out farther than what you need to do in your answer. So move that exponent to the front, n log 17 equals the log of 39 over 9. And then what would your last step be? Divide both sides by log of 17.
Are you